G'day everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Halftime with Hogga. Tonight I have a very special guest, potentially the only shoot shield player in history to play in all 8 grades, including fourth Colts, and play Super Rugby. The one and only Dr. Nathan Trist. G'day Tristy, thanks for joining us.
Lovely to be here, mate.
Just seen the first half of the 2008 Shoot Shield Grand Final, and of course that controversial try in the left-hand corner. Talk us through it, mate. Did you actually understand the rules?
Except the ones that involve the scrums and the lineouts, obviously. But all the rules that matter, I know them. And that includes if your legs go out on the in-goal and an attacking grubber, it's not out.
I know you've had a lot of amazing careers. You're a physio, you're now a doctor. I actually always thought you'd be a great ref.
I think it takes one to know one. I think after your coaching career fails, we all know where you're headed. Yeah, to be honest with you, when I started at Wesley, I knew absolutely nothing about Sydney Shoot Shield, Sydney Uni Rugby Club, anything. I just rocked up I was from Kiama. Yeah, we had Alcanar, Carter at Wesley, a few other guys who went on to have distinguished Sydney Uni careers. I actually got put in first Colts for the first trial. So I must have gone all right. And then I got put in fourth Colts the next week. My fourth Colts coach was actually none other than Ross Ryan for the whole year. So
I mean, that says enough right there. That's a career when it's in itself.
So yeah, birth of a career. And Roscoe taught me how to punt on the races.
You and I were lucky enough to play plenty of games together. You're a prolific point scorer, whilst not ever really kicking any goals. So you do still have a few club records, but including the most points in a game. Can you talk us through that?
It was out in Penrith, and obviously I don't want to go on about, I think we won 134-0 in fourth grade at 9:30 in the morning. The major highlight for me was I was wearing a pair of Northern Eagles silkies, which Dawn's had given me the occasion. Actually, I thought it was great, but apparently it upset Morts a little bit that I was wearing non-club kit.
That's why we call him the Godfather. The standards, there's no standards higher than David Mortimer.
He was at the Rith at 10 in the morning watching fourth grade.
I actually caught up with Luke Burgess a few weeks ago, and we were talking about the ARC and all the players that came through. You obviously had a stint down there. Can you talk us about the lifeblood of Australian rugby, the Australian Rugby Championship?
Yeah, wasn't it brilliant? 2007, it was I don't know whose brainchild it was, but it was, from a player's point of view, it was a much needed third tier. Those of us lucky enough to get selected for the Rebels got shipped down to Melbourne. We'd actually won the GF the night before, and Pete Playford and I missed our flights, and we had to rearrange our own flights to get there for training the next morning. There's at least 10 or 15 Sydney Uni guys as well, and then assortment from Queensland and a few other clubs. And yeah, they looked after us.
We don't get much out of Dave Haig, but any highlights of David Haig down there?
Massive beard at the time. And Hagee, he's always real serious, but we got him to come out of his shell a little bit in that time. Dressed him up as Sebastian Cheval, I think, for Mad Monday. And actually, I think Hagee was last man standing on Mad Monday.
Studying medicine, I think you might have been about 31. Interestingly, I was actually on the other wing at the time. I think I was about 21 or 22.
29,
and the
mate.
Waratahs, and put the story in perspective, the Waratahs are, looking to give a contract. They decided to give it to Nathan Trist, not a sore point. Anyway, let's talk through your illustrious Waratahs career. I think you actually might have a Waratahs record as well as a Sydney Uni record.
Yeah. Have you got time for this? This is a short half time, right? If you want to compare notes later, I know you did get a 2-year contract eventually, but if you I actually did a season on one of the EPS contracts, which I was absolutely stoked to get at age 29. And yeah, trained for the off season and ended up, a couple of blokes were injured in the trials, and I got a Guernsey on the bench for the first 2 games. And first game against the Reds, people might remember it, but it was one where we lost after the bell. Dom Shipley scored a length of the field try. I had a good view of it from the pine. Didn't get on. And then second game down was against the Rebels actually, and I did get on in the 78th minute, and I think we were up by 30, and I didn't touch the ball. I think it was somewhere between 90 seconds and 150 seconds.
And I'm sure that's 90 seconds or 150 seconds more than a lot of people who have wished and wanted to wear the sky blue jersey, mate. So well done.
Thank you.
And now you're a practicing doctor. You've got a beautiful young family. What is it about Sydney Uni that all of these they haven't fallen into place? I know personally you work so hard for it, but what is it about Sydney Uni that can make or facilitate this sort of stuff?
Oh man, Sydney Uni was 100% the glue in making a lot of that happen. I was pretty directionless from school career wise, and medicine was something that came pretty late starting. And I was fortunate enough just to be around the rugby club for that whole time, and had some good mentors like Luke Inman, and Nick Hayden was another one who'd gone and done it before me. And those guys seemed to be really enjoying it. And I was actually lucky enough to get a spot at Sydney Uni with a little bit of help from the Wizard.
I don't know if we're supposed to talk about that, but anyway.
My next challenge is actually a job with the pre-hospital service, with the retrieval service, where I'll be the doctor in those toll helicopters that you see. And I'll be doing that for the next 12 months from August. So hopefully we won't get a job at Sydney Uni. But
man, you get one at RPA, mate. I'll be knocking on the door for you to coach the backs of the third Colts.
Oh,
mate.
that's right.
That would be unbelievable.
I would love nothing more to have the time to come back to Sydney Uni and give back in whatever way I could.
Absolutely. You'll always be welcome back, whether you're giving medical advice, coaching advice, maybe not goal kicking advice. We've got a few others on hand for that one, but mate, anytime you want to come back, you will always be welcome. Mate, thanks for coming on and catching up with us.
Yeah, thanks, Hogga. And just want to say you guys have done a bloody great job in a challenging time that it is now. It's actually been better for all of us old blokes getting to relive a few glory days and reconnect. We've actually watched a couple of games and dialed in some people we're playing with that I hadn't spoken to for years, and that's all because of you guys thinking outside the box, being creative and showing this stuff. So well done.
Thanks, mate, and thanks again for coming on. Let's enjoy the second half.